second day of the 50th birthday celebration of our great mother, Mata Amritanandamayi Devi. First of all, I would like to thank Sri Aravindan and the organizers for giving me this opportunity to participate in this auspicious occasion of this birthday celebration. As everybody has said yesterday, I hope definitely the children of Amma Mata Amritananda Devi in MUSCAT will have the opportunity to celebrate the 51st birthday next year with Amma in MUSCAT. Let us all pray that Amma will be here with us in this midst to celebrate her 51st birthday next year. Today's function, we have the talk on symbolism in Hinduism by DrTPS, followed by Tantra, an introduction by Sri Girish Kumar. Yesterday we heard the talks by the great two scholars from Kerala. Dr. T.P. Shashikumar is an MSc Mathematics from the University of Cochin, and he's MPhil in Applied Mathematics from Bangalore University. He is also a PhD in Radiative Heart Transfer from the Bangalore University, and LLB from Osmania University, MBA in HID and Knowledge Management from IGNOU, and MS in Physiotherapy and Counseling, IPMS, Mumbai. He is also professionally trained on many technology fields, involved in HRD and knowledge management projects on ISRO, active in many professional bodies, and has also published many technical papers and received honors for contributions. He is also practicing and giving lectures on life-touching subjects, active in the Indian Institute of Scientific Heritage activities. He has many interviews, published articles, and which has come in many of the Indian and overseas medias.
Today's namaskaram to all the people who gathered here to listen to me on the second day of the celebration of Amma's birthday. The subject given for today's topic of discussion is symbolism in Hinduism. It's a topic which needs long time, probably some 2.5 hours, at least to touch upon different areas. And we are already late by 1 hour. And Girish ji has got another topic in the next session, which he may require minimum 1.5 to 2 hours. So I don't know what is to be done. That is first. Second, more important than this, many people were telling, I am being called here for a specific reason. More than me, these two rods are famous. You have always some standby, for some power you should have something. So these two rods only the reason for me to be called here. Not my LLB, not my MBA, not I am from Department of Space. So there is a large demand from some group of people that I should talk something about these two rods. Therefore, I will try to balance somewhere. And for the last 3 days we are here. And we have been meeting many people together. And parallelly, for last 1.5 months, I have ended up in one book called Uttara Gita. When Arjuna was in the battlefield, he had a problem, psychological problem. Most of the students, when they go for examination, they have psychological problem. They must have learned many things, but during the examination, just before examination, they start shivering. Similarly, Arjuna had a problem and Krishna gave solutions. He described what are all the things good and what are not good. And at the end he says that you can think yourself and decide what is to be done. And at the end Arjuna again says, I am not able to decide. I am in full confusion. That generally all psychological people have. You get enough information, enough knowledge, but when they are psychologically down, when you are in trouble, you will not be able to decide yourself. And you need somebody to guide. Then what is to be done? I think for last 3 days, Girishji was stressing on the requirement of a guru, and you should surrender to guru and say that whatever he says, you follow. Lord Krishna also told the same thing. You surrender to me totally, forget about everything, and forget about your karma, forget about the knowledge what you have, forget about everything. I will guide you. That's why Krishna stands in the front and then Arjuna at the back. He is the person who guides you. But after the war, Mahabharata war is over, Arjuna again goes back to him and says, I have got few more doubts. Whatever you told me during my tension time, I did not get, actually nothing has gone into my brain, but you tell me really what is required for a human being, again repeat the same thing. But Krishna have got one tradition. He did not tell anything at a place where that need not be told. He told whatever has to be told at the right point of time to the right people. So he did not repeat the same Bhagavad Gita. That is what is to be told during that time. Not at the cup of tea at the dining table, you cannot again talk about Bhagavad Gita. That is required to be said at the time where crisis is there, where you have to be told all this. I cannot repeat this. Similarly, Dharmaputra also asks Lord Krishna, you have told so many informations to Arjuna, but you did not tell me anything. Why you did not teach me? I am the eldest. Why you did not tell me anything? You tell me something more on how to rule the country. Then he said, I am not the right person to tell you how to rule the country. There is an old man lying there, and you go and ask him. You ask Bhishmacharya. He is the right person because he has seen different rulers and he is the right person to go on. So he could have also advised, but Lord Krishna said, I am not the right person to advise. You go to him. He is the right person. So whenever direction is required, he used to do that. Whenever there is something to be said, he did not stop. He used to tell that. But what happens to our present day's guru? Mr. Shankar was asking me, it's very difficult nowadays to find a good guru. Always difficult, because bogus people are much more than the real ones. So how do you identify? And what is to be done? Who is the real guru? How to reach on to them? It's a difficult thing. Maybe solutions are there for them. And there are a lot of books and lot of shastras also. What is to be selected, what is to be studied. The 3rd chapter in Uttara Bhagavad Gita says, Ananda Shastram Bahu Veditavyam Alpascha Kalo Bahu Vascha Vigna Yel Sarabhudam. Forget about the rest of the thing. What it says? Ananda Shastram. There are a lot of books and science books, textbooks, theories, all available. Lot of informations are available. Lot of knowledge is also available in that. But you have only little bit of time. You cannot read everything and learn and then start living. There is no time for your life. And you have got lot of problems in the shortest span of your life also. You have got many problems. Then where is the time for learning all this and then coming back to start a life? You don't have time. So what is to be done? Lord Krishna himself said, you don't have to learn anything. What is exactly required, that only you should learn. Being a government servant, we are supposed to know all the rules, but you don't need to know. If required, that point of time, you search and find out. That is what is required. You don't have to learn what is not required for you. That is what it says. So you don't have to know few things, and you have to know only very few things which is very essential for your life to go ahead. Most of the people, when we think too much, what happens is, you should know why a temple is there, why the statue is like this. Some people call me at the night, midnight, and say that, there is some discussion happened in their house at the end, say that Ganesha, the statue in my house, have got the tusk in this side, trunk in this side, what is to be done? No, an artist may put in whatever fashion they want. And how does it matter? Ganesha is somebody you can represent in any fashion. Generally, many people represent. So I'm slightly moving on to the symbolisms. Maybe if I am not touching also, somewhere I will touch. You cannot explain few things. Why this way he has represented? Why not the other way? Most of the time, no, this is very difficult to explain. In TDM hall, Trichur, when I gave a talk, somebody asked me, I have a big problem in my family. My younger son and elder son always fight each other. What is to be done to solve my problem? I don't know whether told in some small gathering at this Oman itself. Says both of them are fighting. What is to be done? You give a solution. I said, you look at Lord Shiva. That is the solution for you. He asked me why. It's a symbolism. How to manage a family is being taught to all of us by Lord Shiva. He has got two sons. And one son he gave rat, other son he gave a peacock. These are the two vehicles he have got. One has got a Maruti car. In our traditional Kerala, you can know Esteem or Escort or something is given to one. Another person got only an Yamaha motorbike. They start fighting each other. So what is to be done? The same thing. What Lord Shiva has done, the same thing. And still he managed. There used to be fighting. But still he has time to attend to the problems of others. And he did not say that I have got a big family problem, I can't do. He has got again another problem. One wife on the head, another wife beside all the time. And he has started hiding inside, So it's a big problem. Always you have a problem. You think about the vehicle of Lord Shiva and vehicle of his wife. Both are enemies. You cannot keep 3 different or 4 different animals in the same cage. And how a rat and a snake and a peacock and a lion and a cow lives in the same house. So it's very difficult. Symbolism is this. You know how to manage a house, even you have different characters, different sort of feelings, different people, but still you can manage. It's very easy, but you should know how to manage. It is not that you should not have problems in life. You should have problems in life. If you don't have problems in life, then you are not living. A person who lives always will have problems. A person who always gets into comfortable always will have something which comfortable to him. It's only a small spelling mistake between. The gap is very little. So when you attain something, when you are growing, you think that you are really growing, you don't grow. There are many things on which you have to rely upon, or you are always dependent on many things. Most of our concepts symbolizes something which says you have to do this. If you don't do, you are going to have trouble. This is also symbolized. There was some discussion some time back which says that when you go to temple, there is a main deity, there are some sub-deities, and invariably most of the temples, except a few temples, you have Ganesha. Again, I started with Ganesha. I just skipped, so again I am coming back to Ganesha. So when you go to a temple, when you see a statue, when you reach there, you want to pray. Generally people pray either by showing hand like this. This is the best way to pray. You are supposed to beg for energy to God, but most of us do like this. This is the thing which you have to tell, no, please don't come to me. That time also you show like this. What happens is when you show your hand like this, energy does not pass on to you. This could be the another way of holding your hand where energy can flow. The energy supposed to be captured by the hand. The hand is the best place where you can capture energy. But when you go to Ganesha, you don't do this. You don't do this. What you do is hold your left ear with the right hand, right ear with the left hand, and then you have to do the real exercise. It's a very difficult exercise. Your leg also have to be crossed. On crossing leg, you have to stand, hold like this, and then your elbow has to touch onto the ground. It's a very difficult exercise. Many people cannot do that. And why you have to do this in front of Ganesha? It's a big question. I don't know whether there is a real explanation. to that. It only says, if you don't do this, you will look like me. That is what Ganesha tells you. Because he has got a big belly and has two small legs, and he cannot even walk from here to there. Very difficult, no? Such a structure, you can see how they walk. If you don't do this, and daily you do this in front of me, so you have got a very good physique. Most of our gods, you see Krishna, you see Muruga, you see Shiva, all of them are really good fit personalities, except Ganesha. And only at that place you have to do this. And he is a person who have got difficulty in walking, and the vehicle is also very bad. But when you have to do something which is very difficult, you first think of Ganesha again, because I jokingly used to tell, if you are not well, visit your relative or friends who is already hospitalized. When you see somebody who is in much more trouble than you, then you feel, okay, I am much comfortable than him. No? You feel very happy. So most of the people go to hospital for visit because you are seeing somebody who is in much more trouble than you, then you feel your problem is not that big. So you feel comfortable. Similarly, when you have to jump from here to there, you just think of Lord Ganesha, and then you know that he could do so many things with all these physical stature, then why not I? You will get a power and you will start jumping. So it's a symbolism again at looking at our gods. So this can be explained for many. And most of the time, when we go to temple, we don't understand what is to be done. What for we go to temple? Let us talk about the symbolism. Does not mean it only makes you to believe something, or maybe to realize you something, give some more pictures, maybe look at it in a different angle, maybe slightly critical, maybe rational, all that. But let us see, when you go to temple, what is the real purpose of going to a temple. When you go to a temple, what you do generally, you take pradakshina. Okay? When you take pradakshina, it says that if your pradakshina is the inner circle, and there is another way you can take in the outer circle also. Two possibilities are there. As per Shastra, taking pradakshina in the outer circle is 3 times better than taking pradakshina in the inner circle. The general belief is, when you go closer to God, take inner circle, that is better. So if you take a pradakshina in the inner one, that will be more helpful and more beneficial to you than taking the outside. But in the Shastra it says, it is better to take a circle on the outside. You just analyze this, why? You will get an answer. And it says 3 times better. Most of our temple, if you take a number of steps in the internal and outside, it is more than 3 times in the outside. Therefore, your physical exercise increases more than 3 times if you do a pradakshina in the outside. So the meaning is, taking a pradakshina is for a physical exercise. And there were temples, you can see most of the time the environment is very good, the mud is very good, maybe the land is very good, earth is very good, but still temples create some granite stones there, very tough stones. When you walk, you will get leg pain most of the time. And you are advised to walk with barefoot. That means you should not use chappal and all that. Why? The reason is, your energy flow in your body, this is your hand, from all these places there is an energy flow which goes from the hand, similarly from the leg, and both of them join here. That is how the acupressure deals with our energy flow. And if you can press at these energy flows at the hand as well as at the leg, the energy balance happens in your body. And during that energy balance, or when you do an acupressure, you should not think about something else. You should only have a meditative mind, concentration on only one thing. So generally when you go to temple, generally people don't have anything else in mind. Maybe very few people will go for creating some trouble for somebody else, praying for somebody's bad things and something like that. If normal human being always goes with only the God in the mind, only bhakti bhava, and during that time when you go around, what happens is, your leg gets punctured, and that gives a press on the energy flow, and your energy balance happens. This is the reason why people were advised to take a round. Now you get tirtham in the temple. You get tirtham in the temple. When you get tirtham, what is that you are trying to do? You are trying to, little bit of it does not give you too much of water. It gives only 2 drops or 3 drops, or that much only is given. The water which comes from the same temple premises, either from the pond or from the tap or from the well, what is collected, and it comes back to you in 2 drops, and there is a big queue for the 2 drops. You can as well go into the well, or you open the tap and then drink enough. No? What is the difference between this water and the other water? And what happens when you drink this water? It's a big question again. It is to be asked. The water which comes from that, if you enlarge it nearly 20,000 times, you can reach up to the molecular structure. You can see how the structure of the water is. Most of the time, the water which you collect from the tap or from river or from general places, it will be having a fuzzy structure. It's like a hurricane sort of a thing. No shape will not be there. Dusty portion. There is no structure. Molecular structure will not be seen clearly. But whereas a distilled water, which you generally pour in your batteries in the car or in the scooter, the battery charging you require distilled water, and the distilled water have got a polygonal shape, like a hexagon shape you will have. Why you use only distilled water for charging a battery, and why do you use this sort of water for drinking? This water, whatever you use for drinking, if you pour into the battery, you say that it will not get charged. That means if the water does not have a minimum energy within it, it cannot charge something else. The water should have some energy within that. The other thing does not have energy, that's why it does not have a shape by itself. When the energy is there, it gets into a normal shape. If energy is not there, you lose your shape. So that's what it is true for even at the molecular structure for water. Now, you cannot drink distilled water. If you have to energize yourself, why do you drink water? Most of the people doesn't know. Again, I must have repeated in one of the other gathering. Maybe I can see at least 3-4 people who heard that, but I don't mind repeating it. It's worth. We have got some television people who goes around different parks and ask, to suggest some song for that day. You tell me some film song which we can put for you, and then we'll ask you some questions, maybe some joke questions or something. It happened in Kerala, one of the, I don't remember whether it is Sun TV or Surya TV or Asianet. They went into a park and asked some group of students who completed MBBS, and still they are students because they are getting coaching for MD admission. And they were asked, why do people drink water? Then they said it is out of syllabus. We never learned. In our MBBS chapter, never. In the whole MBBS syllabus, there is no description why people should drink water. It is not explained in the textbook, so they don't know. It's out of syllabus question. It is not. They have never learned it. And one of the guy who was very smart in that group said, people generally drink water to take capsule inside. That is what they know. People drink water to clean your body, to energize yourself. There is a person, Manekji at Calicut, who is basically a Gujarati person, Guju, who settled in Calicut. He read about Mahavir's history, and he found that Mahavir lived nearly 12.5 years only on water. Every day he takes only water, and then he used to walk half an hour, 1 hour in the sunlight. And he read that, and Manekji, many people must have read, but Manekji wanted to experiment on himself. He decided, I will take only water. And the first experiment was in 1988-89 during that time. 221 days with normal functioning. He is not that taking water and then sitting somewhere or sleeping somewhere. He is a engineer professionally. He lived 221 years, no problem. 21 days, no problem for him. And next experiment he conducted in 2001-2002, 443 days or so. A set of doctors from UN came, at least few of them were from US, wanted to experiment what happens to his physical parameters. Nothing happened. Normal. So you don't require the large quantity of food actually to live. Water is enough. But the water has to be energized, and you should get energy from the sun. He has shown that. And now he is being called by NASA people to train the astronauts, because you don't have to carry food when you go. No, if you know how to live without food, then your luggage becomes less. So I think there are methods, but only thing we don't know what is to be done. So when you take water, what happens is it energizes you, and that energy is much more useful than any of the other calorie foods or the vitamins or the proteins what you take. It is very, very essential. This water has to be very clean, very good, and energized water. In US, this water is being prepared now, called as clustered water. It costs 50 ml, $350 is the cost. Whoever has got health conscious, they take 2 drops, add it in 1 glass of water and then consume it. And they experimented and found, if you take this clustered water, the clustered water has got a nice shape of a flower. Nice shape of a flower, that's what it has. That means the molecular structure of the water is changed in the laboratory, and that is what they consume. Now, before consuming this water and after consuming this water, if you just check your impurities in your blood, you can see before consuming the impurities make a bondage, and after consuming they split themselves, and the oxygen flow inside your blood becomes smoother, and that is very essential because prana has to go inside your body for making yourself much more cleaner. And half of your health problems can be solved just by that. So now the reason for taking tirtham in the morning is for blood purification. You don't get moksha while if you take a tirtham in the temple. And the tirtham is prepared, or the energy level can be just changed by chanting mantra, keeping inside the sanctum sanctorum. He does all the puja, and he pours that onto the bimbam, and from the bimbam, once it comes out, the water gets energized. And this has been experimented and found that the tirtham has got a different molecular structure, and that is why people consume it. We don't know why people does it, why people consume this, but there is a reason. What we have to think about the people who made this practice, who talked about this. They may not have any microscope where they can enlarge this 20,000 times. It was not available that time. They must not have tested your blood, and they must not have seen the molecular structure. Nothing has been seen. Many things we need not. Now we are trying to experiment a few of the things which was available and which were in practice, and we are trying to find out whether what is the relevance of it and all that. Actually, it is not required, but we don't take anything for granted, and once it is convinced also, we don't accept it. If I tell something, next time you see somebody else, you will ask the same question. We don't believe. It's a very big problem. Even we don't believe in God. What we do is, we go to one God. If we don't get something, we go to the next God. If he gives also or not, we don't wait for that also. Generally, we go to Shiva, and after that, I had a very nice person who comes to me in the evening at 10 o'clock. He happened to be a person who was in LIC, retired as a development officer, an old person. He happened to be an Iyengar from Tamil Nadu, nearly 70, 75 years old person. Basically, those people are Vaishnavits, and then by some practice he became a Shaivite because he was in transfer on different places. By some practice he became a Shaivite, and his faith was on Shiva. And after retirement, he started looking back the old books, and then he has some connections. He found that he was supposed to be only a Vaishnavite, and by mistake he has taken up Shiva. There was some question by somebody. So I am touching upon few questions which I collected during this. Then, now he has got a confusion what is to be done. If I leave Shiva and goes to Krishna, what will happen? Vishnu, no? Whether Shiva will get angry on me. But he decided, yes, go ahead, because Krishna is much more powerful as far as the textbook, whatever he learned. Then he changed, and so many drastic things happened in his house. His wife had got a problem, health problem. Daughter got married, got divorced. So many problems. So he came to me and then asked me, what is to be now done? What can I do? I can go back again to Shiva? It's very difficult to know. How can we give an answer? There was an answer, and this problem was existing because there was a big fight between Vaishnavites and Shaivites. It was a big fight. In most of the places, it was a big problem. And that is the time God decided, if there is a problem between Vaishnavites and Shaivites, join them together and then created our Ayyappa. So who have got a confusion, you go to him, no problem, it's a combined. No? Then there is no confusion. This is what it is. So most of the time, even avataras, even creation of God are for whenever there is a conflict problem in your mind, there is a solution which is already given to you. You don't have to worry about it, it comes. But only thing you should know, where is it and what is it. More importantly, wherever you go, most of the time we have seen very, very seasonal way of preaching God. That is not our problem. Last Amma's birthday, my topic was biorhythm. That topic it was a new topic. The first time I spoke at Amma's place. The biorhythm says, the day you take birth, your curve starts. You may be intellectual to start with, and after you can see one day you think you can recollect everything, and the next day you cannot recollect. It's quite possible. You may remember something today, but tomorrow you may not remember. But day after tomorrow it comes back to you again. Why does it happen? Same brain, same mind, same person, same idli you have eaten, same sambar, everything was same. No, why? What is happening to us? And someday you may eat the same number of idlis and very strict diet. One day you feel I am so energetic. Next day you feel no, I am very lazy. I cannot go to those school. No, what happens? Why is it so? That is because depend on our time of birth, your physique will have ups and downs, your intellectual will have up and downs, emotion will have up and downs. Sometimes you will be more close, sometimes if somebody dies also no problem for you. Anyway, it was useless. But next day you feel no use. So much emotional, that's possible. And physical, intellectual, emotional, spiritual also you are like that. One day you feel that I have to go to temple, put gopi and all that is required, but next day you feel no, it's all bogus, actually not required. That's not your problem, because there is something which governs you. And we are all in that Maya, which takes us ups and down. When you become happy, you just become too happy. When you become sad, you become too sad. You can see a person is called matured when they are not either too happy nor too sad. No, they know how to balance it. You know how kids react. They get something, they are very happy. If they don't get, they start crying. Most of us are like that, because either too intellect, not spiritual or not. So we are also waving like this. Only thing, it is not physically shown, but we have within that. If you can control that, when you grow, what happens we know. We have to control this. Even though if you don't get, we know what is to be done. Actually, we are training them. That's a big story, different story. We are training them to how to cry, actually. So if you can control this, Lord Krishna again explains in Bhagavad Gita, Sthita Prajnavastha. That is the thing which he says. Now, Yoga Shastram teaches you that, and you get a Brahmatnanam, and during that time, you can know how to control it. Not even controlling, you can bring it to the positive level. So all the time you will have an equal intellect, all the time equal spiritual, and that is what will happen. And you can attain that. By practice you can attain that. You can train yourself for getting it. You need to clean yourself. You need to clean yourself for attaining such a thing. So how do you clean? It's a very big problem. How do you clean? You can meditate. You can go to different temple, get energy from somebody. The way of cleaning yourself is, you can ask somebody to clean. But do you generally do that? When you are a small kid, somebody will give you a bath. But when you grow, you take your own bath, no? But we are not doing it. What is to be done? A good breathing exercise itself is very good. This is known to many people nowadays. Breathing exercise is very good for even increasing your aura. Living. Lord Krishna again in Uttara Gita says, how many times you have to breathe. It's a true scientific book. It says how many times you have to breathe. What happens if you breathe more? Generally people breathe 40 times a dog breathes, and a crocodile only 3 times per minute. Dog breathes 40 times, a crocodile breathes only 3 times. If the crocodile lives for 300 years because it breathes only 3 times, a dog lives 40 years just because it breathes 40 times. So if you know how to breathe less, not breathe less breathing, number of times you reduce, and then you can live longer. Because we assume that the number of breathing given to us by the God is infinite. It is not. There is a limit, and the limit is given nearly 100 crores times only you can breathe. That you can compute by taking average 15 to 18 times per minute, multiply 60 times, you get how many times you have to take breath per hour, multiply 24 times, you know how many hours, how many times a day, multiply 365 days, multiply for a one Purusha eyes, that is 120 times, then you will get approximately the number of times given to you. Now, assume that your breathing becomes more faster, then the scale comes down. And if breathe most faster and faster, your quantity reduces and you will be off. Krishna Rama Govinda at the end. That is the day when you goes off. Okay? And how do you breathe faster? And what makes you to breathe faster? When you get tensed, when you have got a worry, okay? And when you are in hurry, and when you eat more curry. This is a big problem. More tastier food when you take, you will have problem. You will have tension, you will have pressure. All these problems comes because of our this sort of a living. Today we are fast moving people and fast food people, and we cannot live slowly. There is no time given for anything. We don't take granted for this will happen so and so, doesn't matter, I will wait for some time. We are in a hurry. To get married we are hurry, to get divorced also we are hurry, having kids is hurry, and dying also we are in a hurry. That is how we are living. We have to live away our life faster. It does not help you. So you need a patience for something. Then you will never become a patient. You should have patience. You should slowly take it in your life. Only time can solve few problems. We know that a small kid in our house becomes sick, we become upset. And next day when he becomes all right, we'll see why we became upset yesterday, it was not really required. You know? It's a problem with us because we don't know how to manage our problems. You can by cleaning your thought process, cleaning what you hear, cleaning what you tell, cleaning your breathing process, and all that have to be done. There is the process of doing it, and I'm not quoting the process. I'll just quote you to understand what are all the things what you have to clean. Generally, we know that when you take breathing, it has to be breathed out, and textbook says that you take oxygen inside and carbon dioxide goes out. Correct, no? It happens only when your body becomes impure. Assume that your body is perfect. If you take oxygen, what goes outside also will be oxygen. But what happens today also, it happens the same way. Our lungs can contain 3,000 to 4,000 to 5,000 milliliters of oxygen, but we are only consuming 300, 400 or 500. That means 1/10 of the breathing capability only we are using. And now what is done now? You have got institute where you can pay money and then somebody will tell you, you don't know how to breathe. At the age of 50 also people go for learning breathing now. 1,000 rupees you give me, I will teach you how to breathe. No? There are people who are making money out of teaching how to breathe also. Jokingly I was telling, there was a lecture at the College of Defense Management in Hyderabad. I said, there was a good gathering. And most of them think that if I don't learn breathing exercise from so and so person, my status is less. So they will ask generally in the group of ladies, generally they ask together, have you learned this art? Then he says, no, I have not learned. It's very shame for, the next time before coming for that meeting, they should learn that. Otherwise their status becomes less. I said, tomorrow I will start giving a coaching class on how to take bath. You are not bathing properly. Give me 1,000 rupees each. There will be, I can make money actually. Today it has become a market for anything in the world. India is the best market for anything. You tell something, you are doing everything, and one day somebody comes and tells you whatever all you are doing is wrong, and people are being cheated. And you take breath, hold it for some time in you, and then ask that breathing, the prana, to go in your body totally. Visualize that it goes inside your body and clean yourself and breathe out slowly. This breathing out slowly is not very easy. I used to teach this to the small kids. Ask them breathe out slowly. They will just hold it for some time. Like this. At the end, breathe out slowly. At the end, it will go like this. It's like a gas goes out of the cooker. To practice it, the best way could be just to chant some slokas, chant some omkaram. Then what happens is you know how to control your breath. You can elongate it as long as you want. So why this chanting of mantra, chanting of sloka? One reason is to keep prana inside your body for longer time, and it gives you a good practice. And when you take a deep breath, your air also have to be good. At least 3 or 4 breathing per day. If you know that you are breathing and breathing, that helps you. That's what it says. You are not knowing that you are breathing actually. If you learn that you are breathing for some time, that itself is a good health. That will give you a good health. That's what it says. So what is to be done? You go for round in the temple, you go for all the prayers, but you take the number of pradakshina prescribed for anything or any deity. The maximum number of pradakshina is given for people tree. You know the people tree, no? The people tree pradakshina is more. The reason is, the people tree leaves have got a capability to reduce the density of oxygen. And what happens is, around the people tree, the oxygen density is very low. So when you take pradakshina, what happens is, the oxygen available there is of less density when you breathe in, and with the chanting of mantra, that is what you are doing. Pradakshina is done by chanting slokas. So what happens is, you are breathing, consume it totally inside, hold for some time, so less densified oxygen goes inside, stay for some time, a cleaning process happens. Most of your respiratory system problems related to asthma, related to cold, related to cough, related to some of the skin allergy problems, anything related to the blood, unpurified blood, can be just solved by taking pradakshina in the people tree. So why temple rituals? Why go to a temple? I cannot explain all the things. I am just connecting few things and then trying to explain. If you have got a good body, then your mind becomes automatically clean and your mind becomes perfect. If you just get a cold, I know, if one of the person have got a cold here, even though you like to attend, your mind gets disturbed. That is because physically you are not well, then your mind cannot be held here. Assume that the lecture is so boring like this, then even though you are physically fit, then you will start feeling headache. That is because your mind tells this is boring, and it's a process in the mind which starts for now and then affect the body. Sharira manaso yoga parasparamanu vajet. It is so related, no, when like whatever happens to the mind, it also starts affecting your body. Whatever happens to the body starts affecting your mind. The simplest way of understanding that is, look at the people at the teenage. The hormone starts growing, the mind starts blowing, and the mind starts blowing, the hormone starts growing. This is how it happens. Now this you cannot control sometime, but if you know how to put them together, maybe we are all in the world where we have got problems. Whoever does good things will have more problems. Whoever like to do, you do some arrangement here, one satsang here, call some people, there will be a lot of complaints. I've gone through all this. So when you do something good, when you talk something good, there will be at least 100 people who start criticizing. Somebody was asking, why does it happen? Again, I am taking some question. That is because there are a lot of avatars, and this avatara during this period is Kali. Kali is the avatara now. And Kali always is against good. Always it supports bad things. So therefore what happens is, whoever does good things will get an effect, and the Maya is affecting more. And this is the time we like to do something good, but there will be somebody else who takes benefit of it and then misinterpret the thing and then make cash for their living. And they don't mind quoting the people. He said, no, he is very supportive to me. I have discussed with him. I learned this. All these are much more captive than something else, which whatever he said, maybe some people will absorb it as it is and accept and then live their own. But there are few people try to market out of this. It's a big problem. It's a good example we should learn. In when Bhima goes for that flower, no? Kalyana Saugandhikam. One of the Kathakali, generally the stories, the best one selected is this. He meets a elephant being swallowed by a snake. I don't know, most of the people knows this story. Okay? He meets an elephant being swallowed by a snake. And the elephant, half of the leg, back leg and the tail is inside the snake's mouth. And the rest part is outside. The snake is crying out for help. Literally crying for help. And Bhima is seeing what is happening. And one lion comes from the den. And what it does is, it starts eating at the head part. Most of the public in our, this represents, this represents the public which we have. You are in real trouble and then you are crying for help, and then somebody comes and then start utilizing that situation and then making money out of it, advising you for doing so many things. This is how our life is. So we have no escape. When you are in real trouble, whoever comes, you know that what is to be done. This is very, very difficult. In this situation, very, very difficult to live. At least, what is to be done to get moksha? If you cannot do good things, there is nothing wrong. But if you don't do bad things, you can survive better. I explain a nice story. A king wanted, he must have done so many mistakes. There is no single individual who is always doing good. Similarly, one king was also not very good. He reaches to a sannyasi who is in deep meditation, deep prayer. He goes and asks him, tell me the way to get to heaven. He is entitled to go to hell only. But he wanted, at the last moment he realized and he found that you can get solution from somebody. And he goes. He does not open his eye. He does not care this king. He just closed eyes and then started meditating again. He did not open his eyes. And then king again asks, 2-3 times he asked, he got upset. He took his sword out and tells you that I am going to kill you. You tell me what is the way. He just opened the eyes and then closed again. He did not give an answer. Then this man realized there is something wrong. If I just kill him again, my papa is going to get increased. So I will not get an answer anyway, but my papa will again become more and I will get very difficult situation in the hell. So he puts it back. And the Swamiji opens his eyes and says that this is the way to go to heaven. If you don't do bad things, at least that is what you can do. From today onwards, don't try to see the way for getting to heaven. You don't do bad things. You don't get angry. You don't do mistakes. That can take you in a better place. And that is what people are supposed to do. Don't hunt for things. And what is required is the mind for realization that we are doing mistake. That is one. We have done mistake. That is second. Probably I will not commit mistakes, and then take an oath by ourselves. Nobody need to teach this. You can learn by yourself. If you do this, when you take birth, smaller kids have got a large aura. They have got a big life force energy. They are vitalized by themselves. And then as you grow, what happens is we become impure, and we become bad. That is what happens. To give some small example, I'll tell you again. When you have got a small kid, we like them to play with us. When it starts crawling, maybe when the kids are, most of the mothers does not agree to this, but still I'll tell you. Most of the kids, when they take birth, they have got a big belly, small 2 legs and small 2 hands. The shape of the shoulder is too low and looks so ugly. Okay? But after a few days, that is the time when the infant goes into the baby stage. When it comes to a slightly bigger baby, it becomes very cute. And then it becomes a child. And during the baby time, you start liking playing with the kid. Maybe just between 4 months to 1.5 time is the time when you really like to play with the kids. And then you give some maybe keychain or something, put it on the floor. The baby starts crawling and comes closer to you. You pull the chain, again it starts crawling. You can see you can play with the kid as long as you want. The kid never gets tired. But we become tired and then at last we will just throw it. No? Generally the kid never stops because they have got much more patience, they have got much more stamina than all of us. And then at the time that item comes to the kid, becomes really happy, and just looks at you and then smiles. You become older, you try for writing SSLC examination 1, if you fail, you just leave it. Second trial you don't make. Maximum second trial you make, if you fail there, then you don't try the third trial. You see how much is the stamina the kid has got. It has got a determination that it has to go. You don't mind taking rounds and times and times trials, and then ultimately it gets and then it's happy. When you get even the richest status, when you become the happiest person also, you are not happy. Again, you look back around and then see that he is much bigger than me, he is much other than me, and we cannot reach them, and then we become unhappy. It's a big problem. We never become unhappy. We never become happy. All the time you are hunting for problems, you become unhappy. And what is that really you require? You don't know what is that really you require. I don't know, somewhere yesterday I was again quoting, getting more knowledge is what you want, which makes you happy. That's what I started. Makes you happy? I'm sure no knowledgeable person is happy, because he understands that there is something more to learn. And his life will be always hunting for knowledge, and never you can utilize your knowledge for your living, and then you die with all the knowledge. That's what is going to happen. You cannot. And your ego or power can never get satisfied. There was a person, an oil merchants association president in Hyderabad. After a lecture like this, there was a lecture. It was on National Astrological Conference. It's a true astrological conference in which National Astrological, 30 people from each state was there, 600 people or so. At the end, one of the person, generally many rich people have got a feeling, no? If somebody who is a public speaker, somewhere who considered to be as a guest, if you take to my house, I become greater, that sort of a feeling. So he wanted me to visit his house. I asked him, what for? He said, no, you just come to my house. I don't know what for I should come. No, you please come. I was called there. And I said, next day I had some puja to attend at 8 o'clock. So I said, I cannot come. You have to travel nearly 1 hour. No, don't worry. You are free in the morning, yes. But before 8 o'clock only. Then I'll come to your house at 5 o'clock and pick you up. And no reason. And I went there. He said, so-and-so Swamiji visited my house. All the photographs he have kept in his office room. He says that many people visited my house. I asked him why. What is your real problem, what you want? He said, earlier when I used to walk on this road, everybody used to salute me. Now nobody is saluting me. Biggest problem, no? Somebody does not say salute to you, namaskaram to you, you are upset. Because you have nothing else to get upset. He has got everything. Very rich fellow. Everything is blessed with, but salute is not there. Earlier it used to be there. So he is upset. Many people have got this problem. You don't know what for. If you don't have any problem, try to create some problem, no? Because you don't have anything else to be done. That is what people are. We have everything around us. Everything is given by God, but still we will ask for something again. Yesterday I was talking about the beggar. No? It's like this. We are a real beggar in most of the cases. We don't know what is that we really want. We go onto the ground and then do this. If you don't have this, if you clean up your mind, if you clean up your thought process, if you get satisfied by yourself, and then probably you will have a better health. The best way to get a better health is this. And you must be able to concentrate, meditate, take care of your family, take care of the people around, have a satsang, share your knowledge, open up your mind, talk to people, understand their problems, share your thought process, do something for somebody in this world. Ultimately, at the end of the day, when we live for 60, approximately, we don't live, most of us does not live 120 years. Assume that you have got 120 years of life. At the end of the day, you will ask you what is that you have done. Most of us keep our account. If you get 10,000 rupees salary or 10,000 or 1,000 real, what you do is you keep an account. You have given this much amount to so-and-so, this much amount to so-and-so, you got this much. Everything is accounted. But nobody realizes your life is much more valuable than this. Ask a question, have you kept an account on your life? Did anybody kept an account on your days? What you have done for last 1 year? Can you put it in a column and say that this is what I have done? My balance was this, my credit was this, my debit was this. Do we have? None of us does not have. When we live up to 60 years, you sleep 20 years. Most of the people I heard telling that I have wasted my life for my son. I generally ask a question back. You had the son at the time you took birth? No? 30 years. When did your first kid born? At my age of 30 years. So half year or half of your life you have lived for whom? Not for your son, for yourself. Okay, now ask the next question. 30 years when your son you had a job? Yes. How many hours you worked? 8 hours per day. So 1/3 of your life, that means out of 30 years of balance, you are at 60. 10 years you are working. And 10 years you did not spend time for your son. Okay, now 20 years you balance you have. How many years you are traveling? You compute all the time you spend for driving, all the time you are making up yourself for going somewhere, all the time you spend for some other purposes at some different places. Add up together, you will end up in getting a year of 10 or 7 according to the distance from your place to working place and how much time you take yourself for making up and all that. That will be another 10 years. And then what you have got is another 10 years, in which how many kids you have? 2 kids, 1 wife, probably 1 wife. And then you have to share the time what is available for all the 3. And you have to give time for your mother, father, friends, company, drinks, all that together. Put together, you must have spent only hardly 3-4 months for your son. That itself is a great thing. And what you have done all 3 months, you compute. You must have scolded him more than 1 or 2 months and really patted him less than a week. And can you tell that you have spent your life for a son where you have not even spent out of 60 years, 6 months? This is what our life is. We have been given birth by our mother, father. We don't even spend 10 minutes in our life for our father and son. When we want to make a call, first comes the money which we have to pay for the bill. Okay, forget, not today. Tomorrow I will try. And tomorrow goes on, and one day you will listen that he is no more, she is no more, finished. Do you get a chance again? And the pain you have in your mind, you cannot get back by going 100 temples, doing 100 pujas. I can assure you it's never possible. What we feel like doing, if you don't do at the right time, it starts pricking you, and most of us are sick because of this. We don't accept our feelings first. If you don't accept your own feeling, where is that you are going to care for? You are first take care of yourself. That is what is very much required. Look at yourself, look at your hand, look at your body, look at your mind, look at within, and then say that what I have to do, this is what I am. Accept yourself as you are. Try to love yourself, and then try to love the next person you have. Assume that you don't know how to love yourself, you don't know how to love the next person, because you are the closest person of yours and you don't know how to love the other person. Most of the people I have seen, they have complaints about he does not like me, he does not like me, he does not love me, she does not love me, the kid does not love me, mother does not love me, wife or husband does not love me. Ask a question, what is that you are trying to do? A beggar of lover. You always beg for love. You have to love me, you have to love me. You are asking for love, you are a beggar of lover. A beggar never becomes richer in his life. Always he knows only begging. Even though if he gets, he begin again a beggar. And we used to tell that the love is a big bank. The more you put, no bank will give you credit when you don't have a money in that bank. You should have an account first. I can take a credit now from Ajit because I have got a love started with him. I have put something on him. Now I can cash upon. You should start an account first. And that account, he also can call me and say that you please do this for me, because I have already given an account with him. So we are not ready to open, and minimum deposit is a must. Otherwise you cannot operate bank accounts. Life minimum deposit is a must. Otherwise you cannot operate bank accounts. Life is also like that. You should have a minimum account started opening to many people, and then you become richer. When you have got account in many banks, you become richer. So you can become richer like this. That gives, and if somebody knows that you are a stealer, you are a liar, you don't have credibility, public, and somebody has to refer sometime, authorization is required, bank also require, somebody have to introduce, and the bank accepts only based on the credibility of this person. Like that our love is also like that, depends on who is introducing. This is how we are. If we have got more people who gives us that sort of a love with us, give energy to us, automatically a look is enough for transferring energy. When I am talking, I can talk like this hours and hours together, not because the food what I have eaten today or the water which I have consumed gives me energy, because from each one of your eyes an energy transfer happens to be, and I am consuming that energy, and I am still the same person, not using single bit of my energy, because I can grab energy from all of you. Assume that half of you does not look at me, and then I will only look at few people who are going on looking at me, and they also become tired. And when they become tired, they'll just look at the neighboring person, and that neighboring person automatically looks at you, and there is an energy transfer which happens. You don't have to train yourself by this. It happens. You can see most of the people who go on concentrating, and then what happens is after some time you look beside. The looking beside is because your energy have been captured by the person who is looking at you, and you become tired and you need energy. You just look at for somebody else, and that gets charged. That is how it happens. And this is quite possible. Energy transfer happens just like this, knowingly or unknowingly. It always flows from a higher potential to lower potential. Always this transfer of energy makes you richer. And it can happen only for people who have got a harmony. So you can have energy in you. That is what is called Chitta Chaitanyam, aura, life force energy, or whatever name you want, prana, that can be seen. You can visualize it, you can see that, you can picturize it, and you can enlarge it by different methods. The simplest method is meditation. And the simplest of the simplest method for meditation is bhakti. The best way for meditation, you don't have to sit crossing legs and then thinking about something, concentrating on something. All that is not required. When you reach a temple, automatically you get the meditative power. You ask some people who goes to Guruvayur temple, you can see two type of people. Generally, I will say, whoever goes to either Shabarimala, Guruvayur, Tirupati or somewhere, people will tell you, what a rush there is. No, it's a very heavy rush. Stampede was there. Just ask him back, why did you go to Guruvayur temple to see stampede or the rush? You could have gone to any market in Kerala. No? You can see lot of stampede, rush, push and all that. But when you reach there, you ask another sort of person who is having real bhakti, he will tell you, Yanta Chaitanyam. What a energy, cosmic energy. It's so pleasant. And you ask him, really have you seen the Bimbam? When you reach in front of that, what for you are going? You are going to see. But when you reach there, automatically the eye gets closed. Because you don't have to see the God. It is not through the eye what you are seeing. It is not. And there may be hundreds of drums, chalanka, the shank, all that will be there. Sometimes you don't even listen that. Nothing. Ear does not work. Eye does not work. Maybe the next person in front of you will have the dirtiest smell. You must have been full sweating. You don't even have the smell of the next person. And somebody must have been touching you at the back. No, you don't even know that. All the Panchendriya gets closed, and then you get into a stage where you will only have a feeling of God within you. Is that not meditation? That's what meditation is. And you don't have to meditate for hours together. A fraction of a second, 1 minute. If you can do that at your own place, at your own house, at your own place of working, at any place where you are doing, then maybe during this talk, at one moment when I closed, none of you were there with me. I am not here. I went somewhere else. That gives me energy for talking much more. Because the cosmic energy starts flowing you in fraction of second. You don't have to wait for long. Fraction of second, that can give you much more energy. And every one of us is meditating in one way or other way, knowingly or unknowingly. You don't have to pay money. You don't have to learn from somebody else. You know the way what you have to do for meditating. Every one of us have got its own way. You don't have to learn something from that. Tomorrow or day after tomorrow, probably I'll explain something on the daily rituals, which will give you some way of doing something which makes you much better. Practice for doing this, learning the business of doing this process. Now, assume that you are good, you are too good, that's everything, you have got a good house, and you live in a good house, and you live, don't disturb anybody else. You can take examples and show that such people also have problems. You may be the best person, very good, talking to good people, your satsang is very good, you are always praying, goes to temple, most of the priests are also like that. You can still tell them, and you can find people, they are not very good. Why? And they have got all the troubles they have. You can see the priest who does inside the puja, no? They are supposed to be clean by taking, there were some questions, no, whether you have to be clean. You have to be physically clean, not even physically clean. After that, you have to clean yourself by different methods. The breathing which I was telling, a priest when he breathes, he has to take oxygen inside, he has to breathe out oxygen only. Prana, apana, vyano, dana, samaname, shuddhyandam,
Jyotiraham Viraja Vipatma Bhuya Sangha Swaha Vakmana Chatusrotra Grana Jihwaredo Buddhyagrati Sangalpa Me Shuddhyandam Shirapani Pada Parsha Prustorudra. A very part of your body has to be cleaned by yourself. Saptashuddhi says that. Annamaya Pranamaya Manonmaya Vijnanamaya Anandamaya Kosham Me Shuddhyandam. Every kosham in your body have to be cleaned. You can chant this sloka like this. But while chanting this sloka also, if your thought process is somewhere else in somebody, and then you cannot. When you say that Vak Manat Chakshu Srotra Grana Jihwaredo Buddhyagrati Sangalpa Me Shuddhyandam. Your vak, the word which you use have to be cleaned. Your hearing has to be cleaned. What you are seeing has to be cleaned. What you touch have to be cleaned. And the thought process have to be cleaned. The sankalpa has to be cleaned. Clean yourself all that. What a cleansing process. No? It's a sankalpa which we do. The Bharatiya Shastra says, how can you clean yourself? And your body can be cleaned. Your knowledge can be cleaned. You will have 100 things which you know. But it does not help you in any fashion. There may be 100 books which you have, but it does not help you when you really require. That knowledge is not enough. We should pray to God that whenever I require, let whatever the sentence which I have got, whatever grammar I learned, put them into my mind and the process, let it flow like a Saraswati. That name itself came because knowledge has to flow. It should not stagnate somewhere. And it should flow like this, then I will be able to talk. If Saraswati does not permit me to do this, whatever good things I do, and if I don't deserve it, I'm sure whatever knowledge I have got, I cannot pass on to you. If the blessing is not there, it is not possible. So it has to be there. And for that, you have to pray. And for that, you have to plead. For that, you have to ask. That is what is required. That much bhakti if you have. And it doesn't matter whether you keep a statue and do it, whether you do it in the Agni, you do it, whether you keep it in your main, you keep it in everywhere. Yesterday I was telling we should see God in every one of the person who is closer to you. If that sadbhavana you have, you can attain enough knowledge, you can become bigger and bigger, but still the question comes, there may be problems to you. The reason is, probably the time of birth is not good, maybe you have got some papa which is carried upon to you, there are so many interpretations, forget about all that. If that is not there also, assume that you are consuming energy, you happen to be a place where you have got a drainage, like whatever you consume, you are consuming lot of energy, but there is a leakage. No? It's like a bartan. You are consuming lot of punya to you, but there is some leakage in that. So you have to close that. This can happen when your aura is much more bigger, you can get a leakage. Vastu comes into this field, where your house have to be in a nice place, your staying place have to be cleaned first. It is not you are clean and you are staying in the dirtiest part in terms of energy field, I am telling. So you have to clean your place. So what is to be required? You should clean your house. It's not physical cleaning. It needs to be energized. And for that, you have got the way of construction all and all, but we cannot do that. That's also not possible. But within the limitations, if you keep one lamp lighted with 5 wicks, or 2 wicks, one to east and one to west, then your house can be cleaned. And you can keep some music, with good music also can clean. Have a good environment, that can clean. You should have good plants around your house, can clean. Basically, the relation between the people have to be good. If husband and wife fights, if I go to the house, I will know they are fighting, or they fought yesterday. And what happens is, assume that there was some cases where you go to a house, you can see that one bedroom is very bad, all the other rooms are good. Then we will say who is the person who is staying in this bedroom are too bad. And some houses when we go, we see the dining table in some specific seat, somebody always like to sit onto that seat only. You bring some guest in the house, he'll tell you this seat is not good, you sit there. No, this seat is okay for me. No, there is no fan there. No, please sit there. They will go on pushing you for the other seat. The reason is because this man likes this seat. And he don't want you to sit onto that seat. He is so attached to that place. The reason probably is that is the worst part in the house. Some people who are addicted to such places, be very careful, there is something wrong with them. So a person who is happier in many places, in harmony with others, he will have a good thing. All this energy can be measured using these 2 rods. Okay, you can measure the energy levels in different places. You can measure your aura. You can measure the energy levels in different places. You can measure the energy level around any electrical equipment. Electromagnetic energy is the world. Our aura, life force energy, thought process, knowledge, chit chaitanyam or or prana, all these are nothing but electromagnetic energy, which makes me to think, which allows me to see, which allows me to understand things. These are all energy levels. This is around us like this. And you can see that for some people you will not be able to see, some people have the capability to see. You can see most of the gods, there is a tejas which is drawn, no? That prabha is what is called the aura. And you can see for some people you will not be able to see. Now, if this aura, whenever you have got a problem, assume that you have got a problem of spondylitis. Generally, the aura of this area gets affected first. And before really affecting your body, you can see that that portion of the aura gets depleted and it starts kicking you exactly at that place. If you have got a back pain, your aura at that place goes. That is what is happening. This can be picturized. There is a photography called a Krillin photography, in which the whole body aura can be taken. The aura of your body is also represented on your hand, thumb impression, and this can be used for taking your aura picture. Analyzing the aura, you can predict what sort of physical problem he has got. And now, if you balance your aura, there are procedures for balancing. Reiki specialist knows, pranic healers also know how to balance it, how to give energy. You can get yourself better. Okay. Now assume that there is a hole and the prana is not very good and you have got a leakage at that place. That part of your body gets affected. Now, this process you cannot control totally, but you can control to a certain extent by putting some more energy from different places, the way which I said. You can add on energy, but sometimes it is very required for you to make it yours. Somebody cannot give it. That's what I started telling. Somebody cannot give energy just like that unless it becomes your body part, your surrounding. It does not happen. Assume that you started sitting in a puja, and at the end of the time, you have to take one Atma Pradikshina to make it yours. This is one way of making it yours. Because you put some items in a dabba, assume that it has to be set properly. What you do, you just shake once. You know. Similarly, when you collect a lot of energy around you, to make it yours, taking a Atma Pradikshina is very good. And that is why most of the time when you take Pradikshina inside the temple also, this happens to you. It becomes yours. It gets densified to you. You becomes better. This way, your energy level can be measured. You can measure the items which reduce it and items which increases it. One of the simplest example, which is very common, which reduces, which makes a hole on your aura, is cell phone. And nearly 5 to 6 companies which manufacture cell phone knows this, and they are doing research on identifying mechanism where they can make a cell phone without having this influence, and they could not so far. And what they do is, they give you a cover, a ponch which is called a shield, which is much more 3 times or 4 times costlier than the cell phone itself, which you can use as a cover and shield, and then this electromagnetic energy will not affect you. There are some cards also coming, some harmonizers are available which you can use inside your cell phone. Now what happens when you use the cell phone? If you don't use, what happens? There is a battery inside that, there is an electromagnetic energy around that. So when you put closer to that, that energy is not in harmony with your aura, it starts depleting at this part of the aura, and most probably you can have a brain cancer or some problem related to your head. You can get irritated, you become headache can be there, many problems can come. So many part of the electricity or electronic equipments have got this influence. This is the simplest one which I want to experiment. Or maybe I can just show you, if somebody can come with a negative energy, cell phone, I can just demonstrate this cell phone. And then I learned this business of measuring from one madam, you have to be here. One Madam Christina from US who gave these 2 rods to me, not to me, there are some 20 people who learned this at Hyderabad. And what they wanted to do was, if you have got a house where your energy flow is not very good, they provide you a harmonizer, which is different rates are available, which is nothing but two rings like this, two bangles sort of a thing which is kept orthogonally to each other so it gets the shape of a sphere. Keep it on your table and put music around it. So we have seen it generates an electromagnetic energy and your problem in your house will reduce. That is what she taught, and she wanted to market that in India. And 19 people out of 20 left this road aside, and this cannot be, that it is not that cheap, so nobody can afford buying it. So they thought it's all useless, nothing can be done with the rod. So I had some curiosity to know what is this, and I started experimenting. Having some background in Vastu, having some background in our rituals and traditions in India, I started relating this information onto this and identified there are solutions, and this information is not new and which has not come from Germany, and the lines are called Hartmann lines. These Hartmann lines does not enter your house. You know how you can protect it by different ways. That's what I tried and experimented and then shown to different people. We have seen the Hartmann lines exist in, these lines are called Hartmann lines, stress lines, irritation lines, there are many names. And this goes from east to west and south to north. If it enters in your house and if you happen to sleep at that crossing or the lines somewhere, you will have problem. You will have health problem, you will have psychic problem, you will have sleeplessness, you will have permanent headache, undefined diseases, people get irritated unnecessarily, so many problems can be there. And when you are staying closer to a transformer, you can see in Hyderabad and all, most of the houses are very close to the main road, the transformer will be next to you. There are many patients who have been consulted by me, and then I have seen most of them when they shift the bedroom from one bedroom to another bedroom, their sickness goes. People who are on under treatment for 6-7 years, just by shifting the bedroom, all the problems get solved, because the energy level in which you are staying is not good. Whatever medicine you take, whatever food you take, whatever prayers you do, whatever good things you wanted to do, nothing will work. Now it is a fashion to keep many things inside your house. Lot of crystals, lot of yandra, you do puja on different things, do for some day, another day you don't do, collect whatever. Generally we have got a habit. You go to a temple, they will give you some prasadam, they will give you some sandalwood paste in somewhere, or some something, whatever is given from a temple is very precious for you, and then put it in your puja room. And you never clean it. Years together you start keeping it. That itself could be one negative energy to you sometime. What is not required inside your puja room should not be kept. You should clean always. It has to be the cleanest portion in your house. Otherwise what happens is, whenever you start generating energy by chanting, lighting lamp, by doing all the good things inside your puja room, that gets polluted by negative energy, that gets spread everywhere. The source itself you are adding some poison. So that's a very dirtiest thing. Now I'll just show you how you can get rid of this. Now if this have got an electromagnetic energy, and you have to have slightly lower where I am comfortable. Now if I just hold this rod here, it just comes back. I am not doing any magic. I am just holding it parallel to the ground, and then it just goes back like this. Okay. Now if I just put closer to this, it just crosses. Wherever crossing is there, it shows that there is an electromagnetic energy at that place which is not in harmony with the other place. That's what it says. There is an energy difference. So what happens when I put closer to that, it crosses automatically. If I just hold it somewhere above, at this place it does not. And when close to that, it crosses. At this place it does not. That means there is an energy level up to this, which is an electromagnetic energy around this. Now what is to be done? Now I have to remove that electromagnetic energy. Most of the people, either you are a believer or God or not, always all of them keep some God's picture in the purse or on the table in the office or in the house, or you will have puja room also you keep. You don't know why you are keeping this photograph inside your puja room. Most of the people doesn't know why they are keeping. Now if I keep this onto the top and then just hold this, it again crosses. Nothing happens. That is because I have kept it in this fashion. Now just keep it in the other side, and then if that crosses, none of you should keep God's picture in your houses. Now you can see it just comes back automatically like this. The reason is this photo have some energy, and that can make this negative energy. Why we are calling it negative? Because it is not good for us. There is nothing called a negative positive in terms of the real electric current AC DC. Now you have got a negative energy which is not acceptable to us. This is acceptable to us, and this energy, if you just keep it onto the top, that negative energy vanishes. And I told many people that you don't have to buy the shield which costs, the harmonizer which costs, you can just keep this on, and what you can do is a small sticker can be pasted onto this, therefore it does not affect you. You can stick a small Om or swastik or maybe Christ cross or maybe that star and the moon, whatever you have, wherever you have a faith, whichever symbol, any geometry which can consume energy, or you are transferring energy to that. When you look at that God, you transfer an energy to that. Whenever you are sick, you get back. In a puja room, you keep 100 photographs, you don't attend to that at all, that puja room is not going to be positive. When you lit a lamp, when you go there, when you pray, you transfer energy. Look at that, you transfer energy. After some time, when you are sick, when you are low, it gives you back. From the temple, energy does not come just like that. There is a pujari who sits energized there. The time of the installation of the bimma, somebody must have done a very good puja, and that is why it has got a long life of energy flow. Guruvayur temple is famous because Lord Krishna himself gave them. The pradishta was done by him. So this is how the energy increases. If there is a large energy, you add little bit, do a maintenance, it will serve you longer. So you can just change this energy level. You have got any coin with you? Paise? Somebody has given me some paisa today. Yes, I'll use that. You just hold this. People consider that money is the most positive thing you have ever seen, no? Let us see whether this money is positive or not. Just keep it on that. And if money is positive, it should become positive. So this money is not positive. Okay, this money is not positive. Now I will request Girish ji to add some positive value to that. What a priest does while giving energy to a bimba, by just praying, by just chanting mantra, holding it for some time, this can get energized. And if there is a power for the mantra chanting, definitely this coin must have become much better, and the speed in which it comes back increases. That means the photo which I had in my hand is not that powerful, but the coin has become much more powerful. If you give me another, I don't know how much is that, I can give you this. And this, if you keep in your pocket, keep it with you, you will not have bad dreams. I remember in my childhood, my mother used to give me something in the hand and say that you keep this, you don't get bad dreams. Now you can test it for gems, you can test it for your whatever mala which uses, whatever rings you are using, whatever gems you are using, all the duplicate gems also can be identified. If somebody is wearing a duplicate gem, grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, there are different grades. There was a national astrological conference in which there was a gem was kept by a shop fellow, one well-known shop fellow in Hyderabad. And when I went there, you don't require this actually. Most of the healers, it's only very few hours of practice is required to know how you can test this by hand. So if we can just test this by hand, I was just going around the shop and then asked the owner and said, why you are keeping all these duplicate gems here, I asked. Then how do you know this is duplicate? I'll tell you, you come, I said. I called him around and then said, yes, I can just test all of them. And he took a good gem from the right pocket and another one from the left pocket, another from the back pocket, and put all of them on the table and asked me, can you tell me which is first, second, third grade? I measured all the energy and said, this is first grade, this is second grade, this is third grade. He said, tell me how much money you want, please get out of this place, he told me. Because bogus people cannot survive. We can prove this with this. Now people have got some doubt telling that I am keeping it in my hand and I am doing it, some magic is being done. I am not here for making money. I am not going to sell this. I have not come here for selling good gems also. Idea is only to teach that there are mechanisms, there are ways of understanding, there are ways of making yourself up, there are ways of protecting from bad energy in our traditional knowledge without paying much. You can become healthier, your health can be taken care of, your body can be taken care of, your place of staying can be better. by the traditional knowledge which we have got our own informations and knowledge. They have seen whatever the worst possible things which can happen here, and a solution is prescribed. There is nothing which is left out for which you have no solutions in our knowledge bandharam, in our traditional knowledge. Just to tell that, just to inform you that we have got enough. Don't hunt for solutions to the other nations. And there are people who sells feng shui. I have got a person who came to me last February, where he had got 3 accidents in January. He wanted me to go to his house, measure his house, see his horoscope, everything have to be done. I asked him why. No, you please come, sir. I went there. And I found that he is the wholesale merchant of feng shui in Hyderabad. And he needed a consultation from me. And I asked him, you yourself is a doctor, why you are asking a Ayurvedic specialist to come and treat you, no, when you are a doctor? He said, this is my business, this is my life. I want to see business separate, my life is separate. I cannot play with my life, he says. What is to be done in this scenario? How can you help people? It's very difficult. There was a time when I decided I will not touch this road. There are a lot of bogus people who came with this road and making money. There was an MD of a private company who was earning 25 to 30,000 rupees. He left that job, now collecting 3,000 rupees. 3,000 rupees is a big amount in Hyderabad. 5,000 rupees, 3,000 rupees for going to each house and measuring and giving solutions. I promise, I'll tell you, I have not taken a single penny from anybody. So far I have not done. And if I don't do this, he makes more money. And if I do this free of cost, I have seen people will come to me. Maybe I have to take more trouble, but doesn't matter. I am going at different places, different hospitals. The Asia's largest laboratory, biotechnology laboratory, the Bharat Biotech, which detects injections, which manufactures injections. They have got a lot of animals which are kept, on which they will inject, and then identify how do they react. That is why the medicine, whether it is effective or not, they will identify that. I was called there to see, and then I found that if the animals are reacting just because the place where they have injected the same fashion, same food is given, same breed, but some rats or some rabbits reacts differently, some other white rabbit is reacting in a different fashion. So I went there, moved the cage and analyzed it next day. It has been scientifically experimented. Many hospitals, we have got small kids, you put them on the bed, you can see they scrowl and then go somewhere else and then sleep peacefully. The bed is available here, but they don't sleep. Now what we do generally, put them back onto the bed. Again they will scrowl. What is to be done is, they have got the capability for identifying good and bad place. And they are scrolling and going somewhere because this place is not good and the other place is really good. So what is to be done? When they are comfortable there, take the bed there and allow them to sleep there. You can see most of the people when they are sleeping on the bed, they scroll, change their positions and all that, they are not comfortable. The reason is the energy line which passes through the bed may not be very good. Maybe one reason. There may be 100 reasons for doing that. It's a different matter. So one of the reason could be this. So what is to be done? You should have a good place of sleep. Wherever you are sleeping, in which direction you are peaceful, try to put the bed there, pillow there, and then sleep. That is the best way. So you don't have to prescribe something. You don't have to go for solutions to different people. You can find your own solutions wherever you are comfortable, and that is what you are supposed to do. And you must be happy, and you should never become comfortable by disturbing somebody else, and that becomes a person who came for trouble. Okay, never do that. So this is the best way for a positive living. This is the best way, and I was stressing on knowing ourselves, understanding ourselves, going into ourselves, cleaning ourselves, then attach something to you, learn something better, add more energy to you, learn whatever is really required. Never try to learn too many things and get confused. Too many shastras are very difficult, and you require something to be learned, and you should have a faith in people. If you don't have faith in people, nothing can be done. You should have faith in the person who says, you accept something when somebody say, and analyze yourself and find out a reason and do your own experiments, conduct your own experiments and identify if this is wrong or right. Many people have got, tava mada padivrada nahi nahi. They don't understand what is the question, whether your mother is pure or not is the question. People have got a tendency to say whatever is said, no. First no. I've got a boss. He always starts with no only. At the end, he agrees whatever I say. He repeats in his own words, he starts telling back, then he is happier. This is the character of people. You cannot do nothing. But every person gets clean ourselves, and the whole society gets clean. And know that we don't have to hunt for solutions outside. The solutions are available within. You should have time to look within, identify our own tradition, identify our own way of living, learn from our parents, spend some time for our parents. If there is a small grudge between people to people, actually what happens is your blood pressure increases. Nothing happens to the other person. Assume that somebody scolds me and I don't accept that scolding at all. I just shake my head. No, it's very good. I don't want to see his face at all. And what happens? He starts scolding again, and I am not accepting it again. His pressure increases. Assume that I accept it, my pressure increases. Correct, no? So you can always reduce your pressure, just don't listen to somebody. If somebody just says, okay, take it here and then leave it there. If it is not good for you, don't accept it. That is the best way of doing. There is a good story again. I like telling stories sometimes. One husband and wife always fights. They go to a Swamiji and then ask for some solutions for this problem. Swamijis are not experienced in solving problems, because they don't know these problems. You don't require really to undergo the problems to treat. Somebody just escaped telling that, I don't know this problem because I have not faced it. That way, a doctor cannot treat the cancer patient. He has not undergone cancer. No? Right? You don't have to undergo. You can find solutions. Swamiji told this husband was called beside and then said, I will give you one technique. You don't tell your wife that what I have told you. That is first lesson. Mantra cannot be told to anybody else. So I am giving you some mantra. Don't tell the mantra to wife. You go. Whenever the wife scolds you, start chanting the mantra. Internally. Don't even, the lips should not move. Start chanting. And that will solve your family problems. Next day, as usual, the wife started scolding the husband. Husband was keeping quiet. Again wife started. She raised the voice. What this wretched fellow, why he is not reacting to me? She worries. Because you have to react. If you don't react, what is the fun in fighting? No? And started, she lost her patience. Said, tell me what is the mantra which you learned. I have to learn that mantra. This man said, I will not tell you. Why you are not getting angry? Because Swami has given me a mantra. Now you give me that mantra so that I will not get angry. No, I will not give you. You should get angry so that I can enjoy your face. Until now, when your face becomes different, I used to make my face different, so I never have a chance to enjoy. Now I am enjoying your face. How nice face. Nose is getting red. Nice. Wah, wah, wah. Very good. Like that, he go on internally, become happy. And the end, both of them go to Swamiji again. And he asks Swamiji, shall I tell? You have to take a permission from the Guru. Whether I can tell the mantra? No. Don't tell. I will tell her. And the mantra was, keep quiet when your wife fights with you.